Hello and welcome to this painting workshop with me, Shelby Dillon. I'm a professional painter and I've been painting for over 15 years and I've taught thousands of students at this point, and I'm so glad that you can join us. Now, before we get started with the actual painting, I wanted to tell you a little bit about how you can prepare your canvas and get ready. What I would recommend having and getting is I would recommend getting a regular canvas. You'll see they're white, and you can find these Michael's, Hobby Lobby, Dick Blick, Utrecht, Jerry's Artorama, any art and craft supply store. It'll just it'll say professional stretch canvas. You can get whatever they have. This is a great thing to get. You'll see that it's white. If it's white, that means that it is already gessoed, so don't worry about doing anything more. If you get a wood panel like this is something else that you can paint on. This is what I like to paint on, but don't worry about it. I would say if this is your first time, just get a stretch canvas and be done with it. But if you do have a panel or something like this that has not been primed, it does not have gesso, what I would recommend that you do is get some gesso. Liquitex gesso is my favorite, and you get a big, thick chip brush. You can find these Home Depot, Lowe's. Thick natural bristle brush, and they come usually in 1, 2, and 3 inch sizes. Go with a 1 to 2 inch. Unless you have a big canvas, then get a 3 inch. They also have these at Jerry's or Dick Blick. So just get one of these and apply 1 to 2 coats of gesso to your canvas before we get started. And let it dry in between each coat. Now, what we're going to do today before we get started painting is we are going to tone our canvas as it is. What I recommend toning with is just, it doesn't have to be expensive paint. This is a great opportunity for cheap paint, to not spend a ton of money on it. This is Lucas Krill. I've had this bottle for years now at this point, and I just mostly use this to tone my canvases. This is burnt sienna. I love toning with burnt sienna, and a tone on a canvas is basically just a thin sheet of color that helps us get rid of this scary white canvas. So, looking at blank white, not only is it difficult and intimidating, it also is incredibly difficult for your eyes to see and perceive things. So we put a very thin coat of burnt sienna because it's a warm color. So it gives the painting some pop. It gives it some depth instantly, and it helps us see both color, so red, blue, green, as well as how light or dark we're painting, and that is called value. So that is why we tone a canvas, and it's really, really helpful to do this as you're painting so that you can see a little bit better. Traditional oil painters often tone a canvas. Plein air painters especially, they advocate to tone a canvas just a neutral gray. You can tone a canvas in whatever color you want, and you'll find that each color gives your painting a little bit different personality. So, you can try a couple of them, see what works. I usually prefer a burnt sienna or a magenta depending on what I'm doing. They're both fun colors, and I love the little hints and I call them little surprises and delights when they peek out behind the colors that I'm putting down on the canvas. So go ahead and get your burnt sienna and get a nice big brush, and we are going to tone the canvas together and get a little bit of water and a rag, and we'll be good to go. All right, see you in a minute. Okay, so here we have our white canvas, and what we're going to do is we are going to be applying a very thin layer of burnt sienna to it. So I want you to get your burnt sienna, and I want you to squirt some out on your palette. It doesn't have to be a ton. Okay, so here we have our blank canvas, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to be applying a very thin coat of watered down burnt sienna. So what I want you to do is squirt some burnt sienna down on your canvas. I'm sorry, on your palette. Don't worry about, how much, anything like that. This will help you figure out how much paint you need as we go along. So get a good amount of burnt sienna on your, maybe like a quarter, $half size amount on your palette. And then load up your brush with it and just paint. Don't worry about how you get it on there. Don't worry what direction you're going in. Don't worry about how much you get. Just go ahead and paint it on there. If you don't have, I didn't have enough burnt sienna on my palette, so I just add more. Now, you see how you can see the canvas showing through? That means this is a bit of a transparent color. So what I'm doing now is I'm adding a little bit of water. You can also dip your brush in your water to water it down, spread it out a little bit more. And what this does is it just helps the canvas not get too dark all at once. It helps keep it more transparent. So notice how I sprayed it again. If you see an area getting kind of dark, spray it and just move the paint around. Don't get too caught up. This doesn't have to be even. It doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, just don't invest a ton of time in that. Just focus on getting the paint on the surface. Just spread it around, move it in there. See how some areas have texture, some don't. Don't worry about it. Something else you can do is, if you feel like it's getting too dark, is you can load up a rag and you can pull it out again. So you can run a rag over it and it will pull out some of the colors and lighten it up. So toning the canvas takes about 5 minutes tops. Just get a big brush, water down your paint and go. Don't worry. It will just fine. All right. And in the next video, we're going to show you how to sketch out your canvas with. All right. Thanks, y'all.